Go SpaceX, go Falcon, go NASA.
Verify ready for launch. FTS.
FTS, go.
Copy. AVI. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, and welcome to SpaceX's live launch coverage of the Space Development Agency's Tranche 1 mission. This is SpaceX's second Tranche 1 mission this year for the agency. The Falcon 9 rocket on your screen is currently awaiting liftoff from Space Launch Complex 4 East, or SLC-4E, at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California, in just about 8 minutes from now. Hello everyone, my name is Corey Brundle, and I am a senior software engineer here at SpaceX. Today, we are delivering to orbit 21 satellites provided by Lockheed Martin for the data transport layer of the proliferated warfighter space architecture. The data transport function delivers tactical data to warfighters wherever they are in the world. These 21 satellites are the second of 10 satellite planes that make up the first tranche of warfighter capability. When fully deployed, Tranche 1 will consist of 154 operational space vehicles plus 4 missile defense demonstration space vehicles. Both the range and vehicle are currently green, and we are on track for an on-time liftoff at 4:06 p.m. Pacific Time. Weather is continuing to look good for today's launch, with a 20% possibility of launch weather constraints. Now, if needed, a backup opportunity is available tomorrow, starting at 3:57 p.m. Pacific Time. As a note, we will not be showing any Stage 2 or payload deployment views at the request of our customer. Let's go ahead and meet the Falcon 9 rocket on the pad. Falcon 9 is a two-stage rocket built for reusability that is 229 feet tall. At launch, it produces more than 1.7 million pounds of thrust. Rockets like Falcon 9 don't use all that power just to go straight up. Early in flight, Falcon 9 performs a gravity turn, which is a smooth pitch maneuver that tilts the rocket sideways to build
Stage 1 RP1 load is complete.
Great call out there. The gravity turn is a smooth pitch maneuver that tilts the rocket sideways to build up horizontal velocity. You may hear this call out about 10 seconds into launch as vehicle pitching downrange. Once the first stage completes its portion of the mission, it shuts down and separates. A stage rocket like Falcon 9 sheds that booster so that Stage 2 and the payload can keep climbing faster and more efficiently. After Stage booster will land on our drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You, which is currently stationed out in the Pacific Ocean. This particular booster will be returning to Earth for its 7th time, having previously supported 5 Starlink missions and the Tranche 1 mission earlier this year. The second stage takes over from there. It's powered by a single Merlin vacuum engine, also known as the MVAC. With its extended nozzle and optimized design, the MVAC drives maximum performance in the vacuum of space. Topping off the Falcon 9 rocket is the payload fairing. This is a 17-foot wide carbon composite shell that protects the payload during the uphill trip through the atmosphere. About 3 minutes into flight, both halves of the fairing will separate and parachute back to Earth. Our fairing halves have seen multiple flights, with one half flying
Falcon 9 tanks are pressing for Shongback retract.
Awesome call out there. Our fairing halves have already seen multiple flights, with one half flying for its 4th time today and the other for its 3rd. If recovery goes to plan, the fairings will be pulled from the ocean and prepped to fly again. This reusability is exactly what makes the Falcon 9 such a remarkable vehicle. Now, next up in the countdown, the transporter erector, or TE, will begin to retract. There we go. That is the TE retracting back from Falcon 9. The TE is the large truss structure you see standing next to the rocket. It's hinged at the base and connected to the launch mount beneath the first stage. First, the clamps around the second stage open, then the TE begins to pivot back, slowly pivoting away from the rocket. It should reach full recline by T-minus 2 minutes and 50 seconds. There we see that retraction. The TE is what provides fuel, power, telemetry, and command connections between ground systems and the rocket. The clamps at the top of the structure help stabilize the second stage during fueling, such as preventing movement in high winds. Once those clamps open, as they have now, the rocket is fully free at the top. So right now, both stages are nearly fully loaded with about 1 million pounds of propellant. That includes RP1, which is a highly refined kerosene, and liquid oxygen chilled to over 300 degrees below zero. Propellant is intentionally loaded late in the countdown because colder propellants are denser, and denser propellants mean more performance out of the same tank. Before any of that propellant flows, though, the plumbing and engines are also chilled down. That prevents thermal shock and boil off when the ultra-cold liquid starts moving.
Stage 1 LOX load is complete.
Great confirmation that the LOX load is now complete. Next up, we're waiting for the second stage load to finish. At T-minus 60 seconds, Falcon 9 will enter startup, and at that point, the rocket's onboard flight computers take over. From here on, the countdown is fully autonomous. Then at just inside of T-minus 2 seconds, the 9 Merlin 1D engines will ignite. Once they're at full power, Falcon 9 will lift off the pad and begin its climb to orbit. So we're coming up on that stage 2 LOX load completion in just about 10 seconds from now. Weather is still looking green, and the range is...
Stage 2 LOX load is complete.
There's that LOX load completion. Weather is currently looking green, and the range is ready to support our T0 of 4:06 p.m. Pacific time.
Ground gas closeouts.
There's that call out that gas closeout has started. That refers to venting and closing out of our gaseous systems, such as topping off tanks and sealing vents to maintain pressure. We're standing by now for confirmation that Falcon 9 is in startup, which we should hear around the T-minus 1 minute mark.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
So there we go. At this point, the autonomous flight computers have taken over the launch countdown, and stages 1 and 2 are pressurizing for launch.
This is the mission director. Go for launch.
And there we heard the mission director give the final go for launch. So let's sit back and listen in for the final countdown.
T-minus 3 seconds. T-minus 15 seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. And liftoff of Falcon 9. Go SpaceX, go SDA.
Vehicle is pitching downrange.
M1D chamber pressures are nominal.
At T plus 30 seconds and counting, Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off from SLC-4E at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. We've got a great view of the rocket today. In case you are just joining us, this is the Space Development Agency's Tranche 1 mission, and we just had an on-time liftoff today.
Power and telemetry nominal.
Nominal liftoff today at 4:06 p.m. Pacific Time. Coming up next, the vehicle will be passing through Max Q, which is the point in the mission profile where the vehicle experiences...
is supersonic.
Max Q is the point in the mission profile where the vehicle experiences the greatest amount of aerodynamic pressure.
Max Q.
Falcon 9 has now passed through that period of Max Q. So coming up next, we'll have several events happening in quick succession, starting with MECO, then stage separation, then SES-1. Main engine cutoff, or MECO, is where all 9 Merlin 1D engines shut down to slow the vehicle down in preparation for stage separation, which is where the first stage separates from the second stage. Following this, the MVAC engine on the second stage will light, which is called out as second engine start, or SES-1. This engine burn will last for several minutes and propel the second stage and the payload to orbit. In addition to these major events, the fairing halves will separate about 30 seconds after SES-1. And, as a reminder, we will not have any views of Falcon 9's second stage or the payload today at the request of our customer. So we should be coming up on MECO in 15 seconds here.
MECO.
Stage separation confirmed.
MVAC startup.
And there's that series of back-to-back callouts there, which again were MECO, stage separation, and SES-1. Coming up shortly, we should hear a callout for fairing separation, but as a reminder, we will not be showing it on screen today. Both payload fairing halves supporting today's mission are also flight proven, with one half flying for its 4th time today and the other for its 3rd. As a reminder, today we are delivering to orbit 21 satellites provided by Lockheed Martin.
Fairing separation confirmed.
There's that confirmation of the fairing separation. As mentioned earlier, we will be attempting to retrieve these fairing halves again once they fall back to Earth with our West Coast recovery vessel, Go Beyond. Today is SpaceX's 2nd Tranche 1 mission this year for the Space Development Agency. Our first Tranche 1 mission successfully launched on Wednesday, September 10th at 7:12 a.m. Pacific Time from Space Launch Complex 4 East, which is the same launch complex we use today at Vandenberg Space Force Base. The Space Development Agency's mesh network of optically connected satellites is primarily focused on tactical data delivery to warfighters, tracking and targeting for advanced missile threats, and beyond line-of-sight targeting for time-sensitive or mobile targets. We're currently just over 4 minutes and 10 seconds in today's mission. The next major milestone coming up in about 3 minutes will be the entry burn of the Falcon 9 booster as it continues on its journey towards our drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You, stationed in the Pacific. To start the entry burn, we will relight 3 of our M1D engines, which is similar to pumping the brakes to slow down the vehicle as it passes back into the Earth's atmosphere. We need to slow down the vehicle to reduce re-entry forces, which then helps us recover and reuse the first stage. If you're just joining us today, we are delivering to orbit 21 satellites provided by Lockheed Martin for the data transport layer of the proliferated warfighter space architecture. The data transport function delivers tactical data to warfighters wherever they are in the world. These 21 satellites are the second of 10 satellite planes that make up the first tranche of warfighter capability. The Tranche 1 constellation serves as the initial warfighting capability for the proliferated warfighter space architecture and provides regional, persistent access to warfighters on land, at sea, and in the air for communications supporting advanced missile warning and missile tracking and beyond line-of-sight targeting. When fully deployed, Tranche 1 will consist of 154 operational space vehicles, plus 4 missile defense demonstration space vehicles. Coming up next, we'll have the pre-entry burn, followed by the landing burn. At this point, we're about 30 seconds away from the beginning of the entry burn, and you should be able to see the graphics on the bottom of your screen light up as the engines do. Another 15 seconds here until that entry burn begins.
Stage 1 FTS has safed.
Nice call out there.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
And there's the call out for the entry burn starting up on the Falcon 9 first stage. This burn is set to last about 25 seconds, and again is slowing down the vehicle in preparation for its final burn and landing.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
There's that call out for entry burn shutdown, which marks the completion of the Falcon 9 first stage entry burn. Coming up next will be the first stage landing burn, which will start a little over a minute from now. The Merlins on the Falcon first stage are optimized for sea level, and these achieve 190,000 pounds of thrust each during ascent and descent. At liftoff, Falcon's first stage has thrust greater than 5 747 airplanes at full power. The single MVAC engine on the second stage has a much wider nozzle and is optimized to operate in space, producing over 220,000 pounds of thrust in vacuum.
Stage 1 transonic.
Stage 2 terminal guidance.
Coming up next, we'll have the start of the landing burn of the first stage. The landing burn is the final burn of the Falcon 9 booster, and it's used to reduce the remaining speed of the vehicle for a gentle and precise landing on our drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You.
Stage 2 FTS has safed.
We should be hearing that call out for the first stage landing burn in a few moments from now.
Stage 1 landing burn.
And there's that call out. This is the final burn that this booster will see before landing.
Landing light deploy.
I'm back shut down.
Stage 1 landing confirmed.
Some awesome views there of the grid fins on our way down. And that marks another successful landing of our Falcon 9 rocket. This is the 7th launch.
Nominal orbit insertion.
This is the 7th launch and landing for this first stage. Now, as a reminder, we will not be showing any Stage 2 or deployment views at the request of our customer. So with the successful landing of our Falcon 9 booster, we'll be bringing our webcast to a close. We'd like to thank the Space Development Agency for entrusting us with today's mission, and we'd also like to thank the Range and FAA for their support. If you're interested in more launch coverage, be sure to check out spacex.com/launches and follow @SpaceX on X for the most up-to-date information. When you're on our website, check out the departures board featuring our upcoming launches and all the relevant details you'll need to join us next time. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you again soon.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And liftoff of Crew 9. Go SpaceX, go Falcon, go NASA.